Hi everyone, these are the videos for the new A-level maths if you're taking it in September. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do at least 8 videos looking at different skills. Now all of these skills you should have come across in year 11 anyway, but it's important that these skills are going to underpin everything else. So the first video that we're going to have a look at is this one here, which concentrates on indices laws. The other videos you can see are expanding brackets, factorising, fractional negative indices, manipulating surds, quadratic formula, completing the square, and y equals mx plus c. All of which will come up in the first 2 or 3 months of your A-level maths, so it's good to have a head start. The first one, indices laws, is quite simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at these questions here. We're going to go through how to do them, then I'm going to give you a bunch of questions to do by yourself. So the first one, we've got x cubed times x power of 7. So you need to know that when you're multiplying indices, so when you're multiplying things with powers, you need to add the powers together. So x cubed times x power of 7 is x to the power of 10. And hopefully you should know that inside and out anyway. It gets a little bit more complicated here. So if ever we've got this thing here, what we do is we concentrate on the big numbers first, or the main numbers. So 2 times 4, because it's going to be 2 times by 4. So that's going to be 8. And you've got a cubed times by a to the power of 5. And we know, looking at this example here, that you need to add the powers. That's going to be a to the power of 8. Next one, if you multiply, we add the powers. So if you divide, you're going to subtract the powers. So q to the power of 3 divided by q to the power of 6 is q to the power of 3 take away 6 is going to be minus 3. Now we're going to have a look a little bit more at negative indices in another video. But q to the power of minus 3 can be written as 1 over q to the power of 3. And it's important that you know that as well. Next one, 8p squared divided by 4p. So just like in this example here, we deal with the numbers to start off with. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. Then we've got p squared divided by p. Now, divided by p, if it's just a single p, then it's going to be p to the power of 1. So p to the power of 2 divided by p to the power of 1 is p to the power of 1, because you subtract the powers. And usually you just write that as 2p. But again, it's important to know that p to the power of 1 is the same as just p. This one here, if you've got brackets, then what you do is you multiply the powers together. So t cubed to the power of 4, it's going to equal t to the power of 7. And the reason for that is to the power of 4 just means times by itself 3 times. So that's going to be t cubed times by t cubed times by t cubed times by t cubed. So you've written out 4 times. And just like this one here, we add the powers. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is... Oh, what have I done? Apologies. I should be, if I do that correctly, t to the power of 12, because you multiply the powers, otherwise it wouldn't make sense. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is going to be 12. Apologies for that. Right, no more mistakes, I promise. So the next one is 3h squared to the power of 3. So again, what we do is we deal with a number first of all. So this is going to be 3 to the power of 3. So 3 to the power of 3 means 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. Then you've got h squared to the power of 3. So that means h squared times h squared times h squared. And just like we eventually did here, you multiply the powers together. So that's going to be h to the power of 6. So 27h to the power of 6. Now, we've got something a little bit more complicated over here. So we're going to have a look at this thing here first. So 4p squared squared. So we deal with the number first of all. So 4 squared is going to be 16. And then we multiply the powers together. So 2 times by 2 is going to be 4. So that's going to be 16p4 times by 3p to the power of 5. And then it turns into one of these questions over here. So all you do is you multiply the numbers together to start off with. That's going to be 48. Then you've got p to the power of 4 times by p to the power of 5. You add the powers. That's going to be p to the power of 9. Next, this one here, even though you've got this fraction looking thing, that just means divide. It means that we've got to do the first bit first. So we're going to do 2 to the power of 4. So 2 to the power of 4, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 2, 4, 8, 16. And q to the power of 2 to the power of 4, again, you multiply the powers. That's going to be q to the power of 8. And that's divided by, that's over, so that's going to be divided by 4q to the power of 5. Remember, this just means divided by. So we're going to do 16 divided by 4. That's going to be 4. And just like this example here, we subtract the powers. So q to the power of 8 divided by q to the power of 5 is going to be q to the power of 3. Now, what I want you to do is you've got 8 more questions now. So I want you to pause the video, and I want you to have a go at those questions first. See how many of those 8 that you can get. And once you pause the video, what we can do is go through the answers. So having had time to pause the video, the first one here, we've got x to the power of 5 times by x. Now remember, x just means x to the power of 1. So you add the powers, that's going to be x to the power of 6. Next, we're going to concentrate on the numbers first. So 3 times 5 is 15. Then we add the powers. So y to the power of 4 times y to the power of 2 is y to the power of 6. Next, this is L to the power of 5 divided by L to the power of 2. We subtract the powers, so that's simply L to the power of 3. Next one, we do 15 divided by 5, so that's going to be 3. G to the power of 4 divided by g to the power of 8, we subtract the power, so that's going to be 3g to the power of minus 4. Now this one can be written, because we've got a negative power, we can actually write that as 3 over g to the power of 4. Now, it doesn't matter if you've got this, if you wrote it like this at the moment, but that's something that we're going to need to know how to write it as, because in a few months' time you're going to learn how to do differentiation, and therefore we're going to need to know that g to the power of 4, if you bring it up to the top, is g to the power of minus 4. So you've got to really be aware that these two things here, 3g to the power of minus 4, is the same as 3 divided by g to the power of 4. And the way we do that is we take it to the bottom and we make the power positive. So the next one, p to the power of 7 to the power of 3, we multiply the powers together. So that's going to be p to the power of 21. Next, we're going to do 2 to the power of 5 first of all. So 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. And then you multiply the powers together, so that's going to be p to the power of 35. Next one, we deal with this number first. So it's going to be 3 to the power of 3. So that's 3, 9, 27. And we multiply the powers together, so that's going to be t to the power of 12. Times by 2t cubed. 27 times 2 is 54. And then we add the powers. That's going to be t to the power of 15. And finally, we've got 4h to the power of 4 squared divided by 2h to the power of 5. So 4 squared is going to be 16. H to the power of 4 to the power of 2 is going to be h to the power of 8, because remember with brackets, we divide them. And that's going to be divided by 2h to the power of 5. So 16 divided by 2 equals 8. H to the power of 8 divided by h to the power of 5 is going to be h to the power of 3. So well done if you've got those. And very soon I'll do another video which is on the next topic, which we go back and have a look, is expanding and simplifying brackets.